Welcome to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is Thursday, November 4th, 2021. And look, hey, like the show? Do you like the show? Hit the share button, hit the like button. Let me know you like it. Let me know you're sharing it. Tell everybody how great the show is. And come on, hit the share button, hit the like button. Of course, you can comment live during the show on YouTube, on Facebook, and LinkedIn and Twitter. And I'll also be able to respond to those comments, so please leave them. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday, actually tonight, by going to investorschooling.com. There you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, on today's show, we'll be talking about, of course, the market update, the new vaccine deadline, Pelosi and the rest of her BS. We'll be talking about Etsy and the stock, Zillow and Woods, Bitcoin Mayor, wait till you hear this one, this is interesting, Nikola stock, and of course, the wrap-up. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about the Dow Jones. The Dow actually only finished down 33 points today. It was down quite a bit for a while, about 150 at one point, and it actually rose back up, and it's only down to about 33 points right now. The S&P is actually, again, in record territory, plus 19.5 today, and the NASDAQ is just under 16,000, and that will be an amazing record. It did break a record today, but if it hits 16,000, that'll be just an amazing number that it will hit, and that's very possible it'll happen tomorrow. We will see, but again, I'm telling you, I've said it before, you'll be looking out, watching for the drop that's probably going to come in the next 2 weeks, only because, you know, again, earnings is going to be over. The looming debt crisis or the debt ceiling crisis is going to come back. And, of course, the fact that President Braindead and his Democrats are going to be working on the bill. And we're going to be talking about that in a little while anyway. All right, let's talk about the new vaccine deadline. It looks like pushback is causing pushback. That's right, the Supreme Leader, President Braindead, or Poopy Pants, whichever you prefer, has pushed back the deadline for the mandated vaccine among large companies. As you know, the Supreme Leader, and in case you forgot, I call him the Supreme Leader because a United States president follows the Constitution, where a Supreme Leader makes up his own rules. So the Supreme Leader was getting complaints from angry and concerned companies saying that it would be difficult to hire staff if the companies needed to let go of the current trained staff because someone correctly believed that they had the right to choose their medical treatments. Although this is a step in the right direction, the Supreme Leader also stated that if you don't have the vaccine by the original deadline of December 4th, you'll be required to wear a mask, which is completely useless, as a badge of shame. Okay, he didn't say badge of shame, but it's true. It really is. Of course, the employee will also be subject to a medical procedure called a COVID test once a week as well. To add more nonsense, OSHA will conduct on-site workplace inspections to make sure companies comply with the rules. Penalties for noncompliance can range from $13,653 per serious violation to $136,532 if a company willfully violates the rules. I can't wait for these unconstitutional fines to be thrown out of court, and I hope some CEOs will have the courage to actually fight this. I applaud all those who have resisted the ridiculous mandates set forth by this Nazi regime, and definitely keep up the good work, and hopefully soon the freedom fighters will win this battle and the Supreme Leader will be unseated. Just a final note on this, along with the new rules for companies with 100 and more employees, the Biden administration said it will extend the deadline for a similar but stricter set of rules for federal contractors until January 4th. Get the prick, or get the prick, and the White House won't let you conduct business with other government pricks. Yeah. Pelosi and her BS. Let's talk about that. Each week, I read the Wall Street Journal and CNBC, and it says that Nancy, the witch, Pelosi, is going to convince her fellow Democrats to solve their differences on the bill now called the Social Spending and Climate Package. Do you remember when it was called the Infrastructure Bill? You know, the bipartisan infrastructure bill that was supposed to help with roads and building new grids for electric cars, including solar and other future technologies. Well, now it's at least being called exactly what it sounded like when the cover was removed. a list of socialist programs aimed at turning this country into energy-sucking saplings. I'm not talking about the electric company. I'm talking about taking from the hard-working and risk-taking capitalists and giving away to the non-working couch potatoes. Anyway, week after week, the witch Pelosi squawks about the fact that she is just about to get it all signed, and of course, nothing actually happens. Because of this, believe it or not, several major Democrat donors have warned leaders in Congress that they may hold back on donations for next year's midterm elections unless the party can come together and get some big wins, according to rumor. Even the Dems know that this ship will never sail. This also made me think about last year when the Democrats, or the Democrats, were supposed to vote on giving the last stimulus check. It took months for them to vote on it. They kept putting it off until Trump actually finally released some of the money. Okay, I got to get back on the money track. This political track is annoying, but it's really the only news out there right now. Oh, but before I do, let's go, Brandon! But today's comment to let me know you're watching is President Poopy Pants. So please comment President Poopy Pants to tell me you were watching the show. So in the comments right now, write President Poopy Pants so I know you're watching the show. I'm just dying to see all the comments that say President Poopy Pants. So I think that's freaking hysterical. Let's talk a little bit about Etsy and getting back to money. For those who don't know, Etsy is a kind of knick-knack store with many small and custom jewelry items as well as clothing and gift items. It kind of reminds me of Sears in the 80s. Anyway, Etsy had a great earnings report as they reported earnings of 62 cents per share on revenues of $532.4 million, and the prediction was 54 cents on revenues of $518.9 million. Because they smashed the earnings, the stock rose about 15% today. That's awesome, right? In February, Etsy was making all their money on, believe it or not, PPE, like masks. Ugh. They actually created designer masks, because really, who would want to cover their face with something like a blue paper surgical mask when you could look cool being a compliant sheep? Ugh. Here I go again. All right, anyway, will the world please wake up so I could just talk about money? Anyway, the stock continues to rock, and if you were in it or had an option on it, you did great job. Let's talk real quick about Cathie Woods and Zillow. It's been a while since I mentioned Cathie Woods and the ARC Innovation Fund run by the now famous Cathie Woods, and I wanted to discuss the fact that as the manager of the fund, she sold off some Zillow stock after Zillow crashed today, and we talked about that yesterday. They crashed on bad earnings and bad guidance. The fund sold about 2.86 million shares of Zillow at about 30% or 40% less than unfortunately, than she bought it for, right? Ditching a major position as the stock fell sharply for a third straight day. The move reduced the fund's holding of Zillow by about 40%. I'm discussing this because it's nice to know that even the best and the most popular money managers like Woods, Kramer, and even Warren Buffett make some big mistakes when they manage funds. Hey, look, I'm all too aware of making mistakes from time to time, but as these guys do, I just keep going and trying to make up for the loss on the next great play. All right, with that, let's do this. Let's take a break, and we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com. All
right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. By the way, did you guys hit that share button yet? Come on, share me with your friends. Hit that like button. Let me know you enjoy the show. And, of course, leave comments. Come on, I only see one President Poopy Pants. What's going on here? Somebody leave the comment, President Poopy Pants, will you? Come on, let's do it. All right. Hit the like button. Let me know you like the show. Come on, let's do it. All right. Real quick, I want to let you know that Peloton earnings just came across the board, and they did terrible. Of course they did terrible. Gyms are opening up again, and nobody wants to buy in-home gyms anymore, so they're actually going out and they're doing things. However, Pinterest is up a little bit, so that's kind of interesting. So the P's are kind of working there. Anyway, let's talk about the next topic. Oh, yeah, okay. Which is, but actually, before we even talk about that, let's talk about what we've been talking about. The market update and the fact that the Dow is down 33 points. Of course, the S&P is up 20 points. We talked about Etsy. We talked about the vaccine deadline. We talked about Pelosi, who can't rally the troops together to actually do anything. And we talked about, and we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about, we're about to talk, well, let me do this one more time. We're about to talk about the Bitcoin mayor. So this is an interesting headline. This is probably the most unrated story that I found today. In New York, the mayor-elect Eric Adams vows to take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin. Wow. Bitcoin? Really? Actually, I think that's pretty amazing. He wants to be paid in Bitcoin. I can't believe that this is a mostly hidden article, but it actually should have made a major difference in Bitcoin price, but Bitcoin hardly moved at all today on this news. It actually moved down even a little bit, so I'm actually surprised. But here's the thing, right? Adams wrote that in New York, we always go big, so he would be taking his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin. Adams appeared to be trying to one-up Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, who said on Tuesday that he would be taking his next paycheck in Bitcoin. So they're kind of having a Bitcoin battle, I guess. All right, now we have mayors actually competing for who will have the best Bitcoin soundbite. Okay, this is actually a good thing. Yeah, actually it is. It's really a good thing. With these mayors and possibly other politicians or corporate execs taking salaries in Bitcoin, Bitcoin will continue to prove to the world that it will likely be the new world currency. Actually, it's kind of scary, but everything new was scary at one point. This guy is a Democrat, but anyone, by the way, is better than that moron de Blasio that was in there before. So maybe New York has a chance of coming back. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, here's another interesting fact about something de Blasio was trying to initiate that Adams definitely won't. New York was weighing legislation this year to ban Bitcoin mining for 3 years so it could run an environmental assessment to gauge its greenhouse gas emissions. Meanwhile, Miami has actually been trying to recruit Bitcoin miners to South Florida to make use of the region's nuclear power. All right, go nuclear power. Go Bitcoin. Let's go, Brandon. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I got carried away again. All right, let's talk a little bit about Nicholas Stock. The good old days. Remember when a CEO, you could embellish the value of your company with a few exaggerations about your profits, your sales, and even the effectiveness of your product? That was great when you used to be able to do that. I don't understand, whatever. I guess it's not really one of those things you could do anymore. Didn't this former CEO, the former CEO of Nikola, Trevor Milton, get the memo that this stuff was no longer in favor? Well, if you remember the story about 2 years ago, Milton grossly exaggerated Nikola's business and technologies. He was terminated from the company. Of course, he got a huge package. I mean, he probably got a huger package than the company was worth. But hey, look, he still got a big package, and the company continued to try to build the electric and hydrogen trucks they promised. Well, today the SEC hit the company with a huge fine for the antics of the founder in the amount of $125 million in a settlement. This was, by the way, on the same day that Nikola announced their latest earnings and guidance. Normally, when a company settles a lawsuit for any amount, the stock typically bounces, and that's basically what happened. Nikola bounced today almost 2 points. The strange part was that Nikola earnings and guidance wasn't that great, but still better than expected because they lost less money. However, the guidance was terrible. They stated they would produce 50% less trucks in the first roll off the assembly line that they were basically expecting. Now get this number. This number is actually expected to be 25 trucks. Yikes! 25 trucks. So that's all the trucks they're going to do on the first roll in the assembly line is 25 trucks. Well, look, if Nikola can actually pull this off, they'll be a major player in hydrogen and electric truck stock business, and they'll have a great future. I'm looking for a pullback in Nikola. I'll tell you what, I would look for Nikola to be about, probably under 11 before I would jump in, and then I might buy it. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Investor schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor schooling? Never heard of.
Investor schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Investor schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are every.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, so far we've been discussing the market update. The market is down 33 points. The S&P is up almost 20 points, and the NASDAQ is up 120 points. And of course, the S&P and NASDAQ broke records, and the NASDAQ is pushing that 16,000 number, which is pretty awesome to be pushing a 16,000 number. That's pretty fantastic. All right, we also talked about the fact that there's a new vaccine deadline. So if you were worried about getting your vaccine next month, you don't have to worry about it until January, but you have to wear a mask of shame. We talked about Pelosi and the rest of her BS and how she can't do anything right. It's amazing. We talked about Etsy having great earnings. We talked about Kathy Woods dropping Zillow out of her portfolio. We talked about the Bitcoin mayor and how Mayor Adams is going to be paying Bitcoin. Kind of cool. We've been talking about Nikola and how they got fined and how they be making some trucks. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the wrap up. By the way, did you guys hit the share button yet? I actually got a text message while I was in commercial. People are somebody was afraid to put President Poopy Pants up on Facebook because they're afraid they're going to get Facebook banned. Unbelievable. All right, so again, hit the like button, leave me comments, let me know what you think. All right, I want to talk a little bit about some notable earnings. Wow, Moderna's stock tanked today as it missed profit expectations by more than 30%. Check it out. They blamed the shortfall on lower shipment amounts of the killer vaccine. The COVID vaccine. Sorry about that. That was kind of like a Freudian slip, I think, right? Anyway, Moderna's stock was down 65 points to put it in the 280 range again. I'm going to tell you what, I'd watch this one, and I've actually said this before. If it goes below 200, it's definitely a buy. Toyota also did well, and it should have done well because the fact that Ford did so well last week should have been the tell here. It actually makes sense. Toyota had a per share earnings of about 41 cents versus the expectations of 34 cents. And honestly, the stock only moved up just a little bit today. It's possible it had moved up on the Ford news earlier, so there wasn't much more to move up. My favorites, AAL and CCL, kind of hung in there today. I'm still looking for CCL to hit 30 and AAL to hit 27 by February. That would be really awesome, especially if CCL hits it. Of course, now Meta, if you guys don't know who Meta is Facebook, is rising on the name change, and I expect any good publicity on the stock will bring the price over 400, so it's possibly a play. I'd still like to see it drop just a little bit more. I'd like to see it in the 220s or below 220s. And of course, on the crypto scene, Bitcoin actually right now is sitting there at about 61,500. Ethereum dropped back down from record territory. It actually hit record territory again, but it dropped back down to 4,500. And Shiba dropped below my 50 millionth of a cent range, so I did buy more. And of course, a Dogecoin or Dogecoin dropped below 27 cents, and I put a little bit more of that too. We'll see what happens. If it makes me money, it makes me money. If not, I'm full house money because whatever I put in, I actually took out that plus a profit. I got a couple more bucks sitting in my Coinbase account, and I'm just having a little bit of fun with it. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. But either way, if you've made some money with some of the stock tips or even some of the crypto tips discussed in this show, please leave a comment. I'd love to know. I see Bill let us know that he made 72% today on a play. Did you hit the share button yet? Did you hit the like button? Come on. Hit that share button. Hit that like button. I want to thank you again for watching Money Chat Now. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. As you know, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in this show. The opinions discussed in this show is solely mine, and no one has asked me to make them. I want to thank you again for watching Money Chat Now. We look forward to your continued support. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.